Hello and welcome to yesterday's airlines. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a closer look at the new model samples from ngmodels for the Boeing 737 MAX-7 and MAX-10. And you can see here in this picture that we've got all four NG MAX samples because earlier in the year I reviewed the MAX-8 and the MAX-9, which are the pair that have got the cockpit windows and the fuselage windows printed on them already. The new MAX-7 and MAX-10 samples, as you can see, come without any printing. It's not too surprising, I guess, that NG are creating these new variants. They've shown a real interest in filling out aircraft families to include pretty much all the variants that are available, so it's no surprise that these Maxes are here. Perhaps the timing is a little bit of a surprise though, because obviously neither the MAX-7 or MAX-10 are available in service at the moment. They've both been really heavily delayed because of the new certification program that the MAX needs to go through to get into service nowadays. FAA has felt quite stung by the failings of the previous process that led to the crashes. But the MAX-7 and MAX-10 both do have prototypes that are out and flying, and the MAX-10 has even been painted in a couple of schemes. One is the United Airlines main scheme, and a second scheme has been seen as well. It's the Sustainable Aviation Fuel scheme, I think it is, SAF. So there are a few schemes available for these types, even though they're not actually available in service at the moment. But what we're going to do in this video is the usual. I'll get them out, get them close up to the camera, and let you guys have a look and stick them on the turntable so we can see how they look. As you can see, they already look pretty good, which isn't surprising because the first MAX molds were near perfect as well. So that's the plan. Let's get going. But before we do that, as always, chuck a like on the video if you enjoy it, and please subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Check me out at Yester Airlines on Instagram and Facebook. And of course, yesterdaysairlines.com is the place where most of my material resides. And I've already done written reviews of these two new samples with lots of photos, so you can check those out anytime you like. But let's get in and have a look in this video at these now. So start with the MAX-7. It is the slowest selling of all the 737 MAX series, not helped no doubt by the delays to its certification. It's only been ordered by 3 airlines so far, with the lion's share of the orders, I think just over 230, coming from Southwest Airlines. So there's no doubt going to be some real opportunity to produce a variety of Southwest liveries on the new MAX-7. The other airlines that have ordered it are Allegiant and WestJet, who've both ordered much lower numbers, I think in the 20s and 30s. And that pretty much is the entire backlog. But I guess fundamentally, it's a relatively before the certification problems, it was a relatively low cost variant of the MAX. And here is the MAX-7 up close on a stand, which is a big change because up till this point, NG 737s have never had stand holes, but these two new samples do. You can see that the mold overall looks excellent, as you would expect it to, considering the quality of the existing NG Maxes, which are probably the best available, although they've got some decent competition from jcwings. Really good detailing in all the respects you'd want. Now, what's interesting about the MAX-7, something I didn't realize until I started doing a bit of research for these videos, is that the aircraft actually isn't just a 737-700 with new engines and a modified wing on it. It actually is more different than just the standard MAX variations. And you can see this if I take this cap off the stand and I compare it to an NG73G side by side, that you can see that actually, just about anyway, that the 73G is shorter and the 77 MAX-7 is actually a longer aircraft. Let's see if we can change the angle and make it look better. It's not just the fact that it's got this different tail on it, it's also the fact that there is a small stretch associated with the MAX-7, which enables, I think, up to 12 extra passengers to be seated in it. So it is a slightly longer variant than the 737-700, even without the modified tail cone. Moving over to the MAX-10, and you can see the difference in length here. It's quite substantial, and this is far and away the longest 737 variant which has been produced, substantially longer than the MAX-9. And obviously this is aimed primarily to compete against the Airbus A321 XLR, which is doing superbly well in the market. The MAX-10 has got a decent order backlog for it. It's got large orders from airlines like Delta and United and Lion Air, WestJet again, and a variety of others. So this one's selling much better, but again, certification is taking quite a long time. So it doesn't look like either of these variants are going to get into service until well into 2024 at this point. But as I also said, as well as the prototype, the other two prototypes are coloured in different United Airlines schemes, so there are at least 3 different MAX-10s that could be produced immediately that are real. And again here we've got the MAX-10 up on a stand, so we can get a bit closer to the camera. You can see that again the mould looks superb. I haven't got any complaints about these MAX moulds. NG's been making decent use of its existing MAXs, and I'm sure that it will be producing a reasonable number of these probably before they even go into service, especially seeing as NG does seem nowadays to like doing the odd fantasy release. Really nice finish, and looks good towards the rear as well. I just wanted to flip them over so you can see the underside. You can see here that they've got that stand hole, which it's quite handy. Be interesting to see whether that is retrofitted to the earlier MAX molds, but it certainly is on both of these variants. Otherwise, it looks really good on the underneath. Really nice detailing. And obviously, one of the small differences between long Maxes and the short version is that the 737 MAX-7 does not need the tail bumper that the longer variants do. Okay, so just finish up with this pair on the turntable together. Obviously not a huge amount to say about the 737 Maxes. The existing Max is excellent. These ones also look like they'll be excellent. Not quite as exciting as the 747s or the upcoming MD-80s for sure, but big sellers, no doubt. I'm certain that these will do well. And it's interesting that NG are preempting the market here. Nobody else has got these variants available. Not jcwings or Gemini, not Aeroclassics, and not Panda or Phoenix. So they are going to be there and ready to take your money, I guess, for these new Maxes, presumably before the competition. And I guess that illustrates, in a sense, you know, where NG are really aiming themselves nowadays at being the premier brand in the scale. So be interesting to see how this all turns out. But for now, that's it from me. Hope you've enjoyed this quick look at these new 737 MAX molds, both looking really nice, and look forward to see these printed up with some liveries, presumably in the not too distant future. So thanks very much for watching, guys. That's it from me. I'll see you next time.